is up, my friends? Rob Fury here, talent relations specialist here at Streamily.com, and I am here to welcome you, one of the top Robotech pilots right here, ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Forstadt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, good.
I feel like with Robotech, like you have to like be very like authoritative.
Yeah. Well, not my character so much.
Well, the whole like premise of it or whatnot. But
Yeah.
let's start off. How is your day? How have you been? Period. How's the process going through COVID and everything?
Oh man, can it be over yet? Please.
Another 3 more years or so.
Yeah, it keeps going and going and going. But yeah, it's fun. I just flew in from Napa. I was there for a couple of weeks, just hanging out with a bunch of dogs and chickens and cats and pet sitting.
I respect that. I respect that, and I think that's cool.
But it was for a relative, so it was cool.
Nice. Yeah. So Robotech, like this show is, it's an 80s show, of course. And I see that the premise that you see, if I was born in 85, so when stop that.
I did that before you were born.
Well, so all right, so what year is Robotech? Like 83?
It's around like 83, 84.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
And like, you know, that whole mech, like robot suits, you know, people in robot suits, like I got onto that way later with Power Rangers. You know,
I worked on that too.
What did you do with Power Rangers?
I did a lot of background voices and then just various little oddball characters. Like I was a computer voice and I was a couple of monsters even, which was pretty bizarre. And I worked on it for like 10 years from the start until they left for New Zealand to film out there.
Oh.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Cool.
Well, we have some people in the YouTube chat. We got Real Yoda saying hello. Hello, Real Yoda. And then we have Reaper. What's going on, Reaper? And ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Rebecca Forstadt, one of the phenomenal voiceover actresses. Now, tell us, because you've had a storied career, what got you into voiceover acting?
Well, I was trying to be an actress. I studied acting.
You are an actress.
Yes, thank you. Well, I mean, at the time, I was trying to make it as an actress.
Like on camera.
Yeah, or whatever. I had studied acting in high school and college and came to LA. I was living in Orange County for a while.
OC?
I was in the OC. And I was working at Knott's Berry Farm doing melodrama. So that was my first professional acting career or job. I did that for like, it was one of those melodrama theaters and I was playing the heroine being tied to the train tracks.
Oh no.
It was really fun. It was like one of the most fun jobs I think I'd ever had. And then I moved to LA and somehow I started going to an acting class at Lee Strasberg and somehow I got detoured into working on some films as a wardrobe person. And so I ended up working on a movie that was the story of Brigham Young. I was like the only person doing costumes for 300 extras every day. And it was crazy.
You got paid, right?
It was ridiculous. Yeah. But I was very naive about it. And then I ended up working on The White Shadow and Hill Street Blues and Blake Edwards films.
Okay.
But then I just still wanted to be an actor, which is like really stupid because I had a really good job. I was like in the union and everything. And, but I ended up getting my SAG card on Hill Street Blues and St. Elsewhere because they were, but I had to quit first and I had to prove myself. Like I went out and did theater and I won a couple of awards as an actress. And that kind of got me started on, that was little tiny on camera parts. But in the meantime, there was this acting magazine. It was called Dramalog, the Hollywood Dramalog. It got bought up by Backstage West.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but anyway, they used to post little acting gigs and stuff because we didn't have the internet at the time. And this one studio was looking for people that could do kid voices, and I just naturally, I still I still have a kid voice, you know. I swear, and now people don't know what to do with me because like I'm a certain age, but I still have a kid voice, and there's all these like younger people out there. So, but anyway, that turned out to be the studio. It was called Inner Sound, and I started doing these little animes, and you know, at the time, we didn't really know much about what anime was. I mean, I had seen in the '60s. There was Kimba the White Lion and Speed Racer and, you know, a couple other little things, but we didn't really think of it as being any different than like Hanna-Barbera or something, you know. And so these little projects weren't really going anywhere. They were just kind of like we do our little job and then it would go out into the wind somewhere. And then Carl Masick came in and he had this project called Robotech. And, you know, we just started it just like any other project, but then it became really popular and it was great. I mean, they started sending us on conventions. It was like, I did the San Diego Comic-Con when it was like fairly small and, you know, they didn't have all the big movie studios and all that stuff in there. And so he sent me to conventions in New York and Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and San Francisco and, you know, places like that. And they would, my first one, they actually dressed me up and nobody else was dressed up. So that was really funny.
So you're telling me for your first Comic-Con you cosplayed?
Yeah, but I didn't even know what cosplay was, you know. I mean, they just made a costume for me. And the guy that they had playing Rick Hunter wasn't even the guy who really played Rick Hunter. Because he didn't look as much like his character. Like at the time, I actually kind of did, other than the fact that I'm not, you know, Asian, but but I had long, you know, black hair and was skinny and, you know, was cute and stuff. And
you're still cute. Get out of here.
Well, yeah. Except
ladies and gentlemen, look at her. She's all
50
cute.
years later.
And you still look adorable.
Thank you.
Oh,
and anyway, that really took off and it just like became super popular, and I think that it was a catalyst that brought a lot of the anime into the United States, because before, you know, there really wasn't very much at all. I mean, other than I don't even know, you know, what happened to all these other projects, but they now you can see them, you know. Some of them have surfaced, but
well, we have a question from Real Yoda. Real Yoda asks, question. You've interviewed for the film Adventures of Voice Acting, which was in 2008. I wonder if you have any updated advice for any upcoming voice actors, for the business has changed since.
Oh my God. Yeah, the business is like completely changed. Yeah, like I don't even know what to do anymore. I mean, it's crazy because now, you know, everybody's recording from their home studios and COVID made that even more
accessible.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big deal. So, you know, I never had to learn how to be an engineer. Like I just came in and did my shtick and
I had to edit my stuff and turn it into what MP3.
I mean, you know, and make the sound good and everything. I mean, it's crazy. So now there's just a huge amount of competition, and I mean, just huge, because when I was doing it, there were probably like 30 people doing all of the anime for like years and years. We did all the projects that came into Los Angeles, and Los Angeles was the main place that was doing it. Like, you know, for a while there was some stuff in like Vancouver, and a little bit in New York, but the main brunt of it was all in California, in Los Angeles. And so, you know, every time there was a project, we would just get called to come in and do it. Like, we didn't really, I mean, they would maybe like have us audition, but you know, they pretty much already knew who we were, you know.
Just formalities. We're like, hey, Rebecca, can you read this, please? Hello, you're hired.
Yeah,
done.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, that's how I got into Robotech, really, because they said, they brought me in the studio and they said, sing a song. And I'm like, what? And I sang It's My Party and forgot all the words because I'm really horrible at remembering the words to anything. And
that's hilarious.
And they said, okay.
You're done.
Yeah, that was it, you know.
Like, and can you just do it just like that, with forgetting lyrics and everything for the show? Just forget your lines.
But now it's like, well, one thing that I really don't like is they have these pay to play things where you have to pay to get auditions, which when I was coming up, the Screen Actors Guild always said, if somebody charges you to do an audition, like, run away.
Yeah, that is true. Because like now Voices 123, Voices.com, it's like you have to pay for a membership just so you can get access.
Yeah, and then you do a million auditions, and
sometimes none of them pan out.
Yeah. And then people are casting on Twitter, which is really bizarre. Like somebody will just say, "Hey, I'm doing something. Send me your demo reel," and like 90,000 people will like post their demo reels without any specs or anything. They don't even know if it's paid or
It's because people are just hungry now. It's like now, like being a VO artist, it's like you're not just an actor, but you are coming into the pop culture zeitgeist, and it's like no matter what, there are some voice actors that I literally, when I see them, I'm like, just to let you know, I fell asleep to you multiple times while I'm playing a video game. I just fell asleep to your voice. Or I'm watching a TV show and it's like 2:00 in the morning while I'm like eating chips when I'm like 7 years old, and I just fall asleep. And so it's like, it's ingrained in you. It's like there are people that you can walk by. Somebody hears, like, watches that show, watches something you're in. They'll be like, Rebecca? You're like, I've seen it happen with people that walk by that are very big gamers, like Fred Tatasciore.
Yeah.
We had someone downstairs that was a very big Overwatch fan.
Yeah.
And he played it, and he heard. I just said, "Hey, Fred, how are you doing?" He's like, "Hey, I'm doing right. I'm doing all right, Rob." And all of a sudden, you see this. He just jumped out. Oh my God, you're there! I was like, does that happen to you? He's like, here and there. So it's like, how does that feel like when you first finished the show and you realize, or when you were during the show and you realize how big it was, and you being able to actually be one of the first celebrities to actually go to Comic-Con, which that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
That was not a thing. Like that was, if you went to Comic-Con, you were shunned. You were like, oh, you do D&D, don't you?
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, but that like back in the day, that's how the Comic-Con world was looked at. It's like, oh, you're a dweeb, you're a nerd, you're an outcast. But now it's like, if you're not at a Comic-Con, you're no one.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal.
So, like, how did it feel like when you first got to like these cons and actually saw the cultural significance of the show? Like, how did that make you feel as an actress?
It was crazy. Like when we first started doing Robotech conventions, they were combined with Star Trek conventions. A couple were. So I did one in San Francisco, and George Takei was, signing autographs. Yeah, and I was getting as big of a line as he was. Nice. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
And it's like, to see something like that, to be like, hey George, I have 4 more people than you. Like that must feel like above and beyond like what you could ever fathom, because all you're doing is literally being behind a booth. And, of course, every actor, they want to be on camera.
Yeah.
But, like, being able to just act with just your vocal cords and to see the significance of seeing that crowd. Like, how did that...
Well, what's bizarre about it is that, like you were saying, as a voiceover actor, it's just your voice, right? So, and a lot of times, you think, well, people don't really know who I am, and I was actually going under a different name at the time too.
What were you going under?
Reba West, just because of we weren't really sure what the contract situation was.
Hey,
we didn't really have a contract.
You don't want to put your real name on it just in case something happens, and then you can't use that.
Yeah, and I kind of wished I didn't at the time. Now I have to explain myself still, even like, no, I'm the same person.
So why don't you still go with your stage name?
I don't know. I probably should have, but at the time it was sort of sketchy. Like we didn't really know. We didn't have a contract because nobody knew what we were doing. I mean, it was like such a strange thing to be doing. It wasn't like normal acting, right?
Spit, shake, handshake. There you go.
Yeah, so they didn't really, the Screen Actors Guild didn't like really think about it. Like they didn't even know what it was.
Because it's a new genre. It's literally voice acting. They're like they don't know. Like nowadays, like to get into SAG, like they have this new thing called new media. So you could like literally make sure to put it on YouTube as long as it's not being put out for monetary gain. You're able to get your SAG card.
Yeah, you know what? That cracks me up because for the last like a dozen years, I've actually been a blogger too, and I've been doing like social media influencing for my age group and brand ambassador and all this stuff. And this thing came out with SAG, for this new media thing, and I'm going like, hey, I've already been doing this stuff. It's like it's really crazy.
And I love it because it gives people, because I'm SAG eligible myself. I got that about 2 months ago.
Good for you.
And thank you. And it's like, it took me 3.5 years to get there. And I see how hard it is. And it's like, in your experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, people are literally calling Rebecca right now. And this is why you need to go to Streamily.com/Rebecca Forstadt and get your prints today in Robotech. And we will be doing other things as well. What's up?
I tried to turn it off. Shut up. Okay.
There you go. See, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's trying to get at her. And we actually have another question by the real Yoda on the YouTube. It said, do you have any fun experiences while studying theater at Orange Coast College?
Yeah, like at the time that I went there, they had an incredible theater department. And I ended up, even though it was a community college, I ended up staying there for 3 years. And I directed a full main stage production of A Doll's House when I was 20 years old. And
that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. And this, students didn't do the main stage productions at all, but my professor let me do it, and it turned out to be really good. And people didn't realize that a student had directed it.
There you go.
Yeah, I had a great time there. That was a fantastic experience working there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, even though it was in the OC, it was like pretty progressive.
I love how we're like, every time we say the OC, like, yeah.
It wasn't even called the OC at the time, but like, just, yeah.
Hey, you going down to near Long Beach? But all right, so let's go on to the first print, which is the group print. So let's get this nice black marker out here. You should have a practice. Since we don't have a print. Shazam, there we go. Oh. So that is the group poster that we need you to fill in, and then we have the next order is pictures.
So I just sign my name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at the exquisite penmanship. Look at that. Oh, the flick of the wrist. Ever so gently, and Rebecca has her signature.
Kind of, sort of.
Look at, ladies and gentlemen, look at it. Look at the beautiful pen strokes.
Well,
look at that.
My best work.
Look at the pen strokes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, one side. There you go. Absolutely exquisite.
Enjoy.
Oh my gosh. So, besides Robotech, what other like IPs and characters that you would say that you really, really enjoyed doing?
Let's see. Well, there was a movie that came out that I thought was my favorite. It was called Metropolis, and it was just this really beautifully done film.
It was in the early 80s?
90s, I think. It was in the 90s. But it was so gorgeous. I mean, everybody should see it. It's
I think really I saw that. Remember the name? Was it like a near Gotham type?
Yeah, I mean, it was taken from
that.
The original, like, 1920, I think it was like a 1920s movie.
Like the black and white movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes, I did see it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I played the female robot, the Tima.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get some more prints in here for Rebecca. Just to let you know. But
I think I had that in my prints. I think it's on my page.
Yes, let us see, because if it's not, we definitely need to do that. There we go. So let me get the keyboard.
And then Tenchi Muyo is pretty popular. I played Mihoshi in that. And Code Geass, I was Nunnally Lamperouge.
That is definitely some anime names right there.
Yeah. Ghost in the Shell, I was Bato's Tachikoma. Well, maybe I didn't do her. Okay,
I was like, I did not see that. I was like,
oh, okay, yeah, I gotta get that one.
But I do see that. Hold on, let me you have one from where is it? I saw the Ghost in the Shell, but
Danganronpa. Yeah, that's a really popular one too. I was really surprised with that.
We definitely got to push a Danganronpa stream because I know that is very popular for my ex-wife's little sister.
Oh, okay.
And she like loved that thing. She's like, Danganronpa is like the best thing ever. So you need to like watch it. I'm like, no. As excited as you are as a 7-year-old, that's why we're not doing it. But ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you want to go see any of the fantastic characters that Rebecca has, go to streamily.com/Rebecca Forstadt so you can get those prints because we will be having another thing coming up soon.
Oh boy, that'll be fun.
Oh, heck yeah. And then right now, because we are about 20 minutes in, it's on the other side. There we go. Let's get this fantastic print. Ba-bum! To Chase.
Chase, okay.
Chase, and the instructions is, if possible, could you put a line that Minnie Mae, said across the top?
I had a dog named Minnie Mae.
Really?
That's Min Mae.
Min Mae. Oh.
but yeah, she just.
So Min Mae, not Minnie Mae. I literally was like, oh. Minnie Mae is like, is that a smaller version of you?
Yeah, she was a Chihuahua.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, look, ladies and gentlemen, look at that quote. Look at that penmanship. You can get it here at streamily.com/Rebecca Forstadt. You know you're not wrong. Do it right.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah, bring it down a little. There we go. And then flip it up. The flick of the wrist, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to put to Chase, right?
Yes, to Chase. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beautifulness that we have here at Streamily. It's like everything is just done.
Okay, this is for Chase.
Chase, that's for you, young Chase. Hopefully you enjoy your print.
Yes.
So what would you say throughout your career is the utmost best experience? Fan-wise and production-wise being on set?
Ooh. I've always said, I think the most fun that we had was when we were working on Power Rangers because we were able to come in as a big group. And we would do all the background voices. So we would get really, really silly and just have a really good time. And I mean, it was just, we looked forward to it all the time because it was just like a big party every time we came to work.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, so that's your on-set one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the on-set. So what would be your experience fan-wise?
For like conventions and stuff?
Or just any experience for fans. It could be conventions, it could be through Streamily, it could be through anything.
Let's see. When I first did the convention in San Francisco, which was like one of my first conventions, I had these two fans that were just like obsessed with me. And I mean, they had buttons like Min Mae buttons all over their clothes and stuff, and they wanted to take me out to lunch, and they kind of took me to a greasy place.
Yeah, I was like, yo, free food, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that was really fun. It's been fun. I have a fan in Chile, actually, that he's just like a super fan, and he's always like kind of popping up and communicating with me, and he came out a couple of times, and I met him for coffee, and it was just really sweet. I mean, it's so much fun when somebody pops up from like a really far away place, like Chile or Australia or England or, somewhere. It's just so amazing to me.
The thing is that this is the beautiful thing, like here at Streamily, that we're able to like help you get to those fans. Like if someone said, oh, I want Robotech print, and they're like from Nicaragua, they could get onto the stream, watch you sign it, and they get sent out to them. And that's the beautiful thing about streaming, and that's the beautiful thing about having such talented people like you here on our platform, because not only do your fans get to interact with you, meet with you, and get something personal. But this is an experience. At a Comic-Con, you're looking at the back of somebody's head the whole time until, oh my God, okay, bye. 20 seconds. Now they get to spend as much time as possible with you while seeing your personality and being able to ask questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's really great service.
I
even found one of my favorite actors on Streamily.
Really? Who?
Yeah, Alexander Vlad who's he was in Versailles, and he's in Sanditon. He's an English actor.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh my God, he's on Streamily, and
see what
so
we
am
can do
I.
to get you to print. We'll get something. But ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are going to bid thee adieu. Don't forget to go to streamily.com/Rebecca Forstadt to get your prints, because that store is staying open, and we're going to be putting on more prints into that shop. Plus, she has some Danganronpa stuff.
Yeah.
Go for it. So we're closing. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, mostly on Twitter under @Rebecca Forstadt. That's where I mainly communicate with people, because it seems like there's a huge, voiceover stream there. It's just easier.
On Twitter.
It's easy. Yeah. Twitter's the easiest. I also have a website, RebeccaForstadt.com.
All right, one more time. What is that website?
RebeccaForstadt.com.
.com.
Yeah, please go to it. I need lots of traffic.
We will put it in. We will.
Yeah, share it with all your friends. It's kind of weird because I do a lot of different things online. So I don't really do too much with fans on Facebook because there's just too many things going on. And Instagram, I mostly post my travel stuff and occasionally some voiceover stuff. But Twitter's really the best for me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, follow her on Twitter. You can follow Streamily at streamily.live, so you can see the upcoming talent that we have coming on and to see any of the upcoming IPs that we have. And on top of that, of course, you can follow me on social media, all platforms at Official Raw Fury. If you have questions for the upcoming talent, if you want to have any in-depth behind-the-scenes secrets of said talent, and on top of that, to find out any of the new sightings that we have, and if you have a specific question for a talent, you can message me at Official Raw Fury. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say thank you, Rebecca, for being here. It was a pleasure, and we have to sign off with the actual Robotech theme song, because if we don't, then we are not doing this justice. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the stream today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
I'm trying to get it to... This mouse is just not cooperating with me right now.